Hello there. Pull this mic a little closer to me. Everyone, good morning, and welcome to the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. It's a little more casual because it's very, very, very early in the day. It is nomination morning, but not just any nomination morning. This is the nomination morning for the Pickle Awards. Put up that graphic. There it is. The fourth, I believe, annual Pickle Awards. I don't know. I kind of stopped keeping track. Inside this handy-dandy envelope, aka my laptop, I have all of the nominees ready to go for the fourth annual Pickle Awards. I will give you a little bit of information on these Pickle Awards in just a sec, but I wanted to just say the talent across the board this year in performances, in design, in films themselves is just immaculate. It is the hardest roster of nominees to put together because this is a very strong year for film. I mean, we're obviously coming out of the, post-pandemic era, and, the next few years it might be a little slower because of the strikes. The few years after the pandemic were a little slow, but this felt like the meat and potatoes of the 2020s thus far, so it's been very hard to compile a list and narrow it down to only 5 in each category, aside from Best Picture, which will be my 10 favorite movies of the year. But I just wanted to say, if you don't see your favorite movie or nominees in this list, it doesn't mean I didn't like them. I mean, maybe it means I didn't like them, but for the majority of the ones you will see that are snubbed, quote-unquote snubbed, it's just because I didn't have room for them, and I just wanted this to be the 5 in each category because they are the most meaningful nominations to me personally. These are my awards, and that's why I wanted to open up an audience vote yet again this year to give you all a say, because, just watching me rattle off my favorites isn't necessarily the most interesting thing, so I'm giving you guys the opportunity to vote on the audience award for each of these categories as well after I set these nominations. Now, how voting works and when the Pickle Awards are, you're probably asking. Well, I'll tell you right now. The Pickle Awards will be happening. This is a bit of a weird date, but it's going to be happening Monday, March 4th. And the reason for that is that I wanted to have the Pickle Awards happen before the Oscars, but also I have a new job and the only day off we have is Monday. So Monday, probably 8 p.m., 9 p.m.-ish Eastern time on Monday the 4th will be the Pickle Awards, which means you guys have to get your votes in very quickly because the window is already closing up. This video's description will have the link to the nominees once the nominees have finished airing. So if after this video you were like, oh, I need to vote for this person to win, or I need to vote for this person to win, click on that link below. It'll take you to the poll. You will have 5 days to vote on the poll, and you will be able to submit 1 entry per day. Now, obviously, because of the way Google works, you will probably be able to submit as many entries a day as you want, but I will make sure and go through and make sure that only 1 ballot per day counts, just out of fairness. But again, if you are someone who really, really wants to see a certain film or nominee get their glory, make sure to vote every single day for the next 5 days. It's only open for 5 days, including today, so as soon as Wednesday the 28th hits, that's it. That is the last time you can vote, midnight of the 28th, so the 29th is when I'm going to officially mark down those winners on paper, and it'll be solidified. So make sure to vote. You have until midnight on the 28th, and that is midnight Eastern time, so that is 9 p.m. Pacific time, or whatever the other calculations are for wherever you may be in the world. I just wanted to get that housekeeping out of the way, because I know you guys came here to hear the nominations, so we're going to get into it in just a second, but I did want to tell you when the Pickles was and how you can vote. So, without further ado, I know you guys woke up early, so it's time. It's time to announce the nominees for the 4th annual Pickle Awards. And again, such an amazing year for film. So here we go. I wanted to start off by introducing 4 brand new categories to the Pickle Awards. There are some years where I'm like, you know what? There really should be a category recognizing this type of filmmaking or recognizing this type of, artistic work that doesn't necessarily get a spotlight in a lot of award ceremonies. I'm going to start this nomination ceremony off with those 4 brand new awards. The first brand new award is the superlative I came up with, which is the best use of a pre-existing song. So this is really any cover, any needle drop, any use of a song that already existed that is not original for the film, but in a film from this year, because there were some great musical moments that just involve songs from years past. So the nominees for best use of a pre-existing song in film, the nominees are Complicated, Bottoms, Dog Days Are Over, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Maneater, No Hard Feelings, Murder on the Dance Floor, Saltburn, and Pimp. Anatomy of a Fall. So that is the first of the new categories. I'm very excited to see the response on that. Another new category this year, which I can't believe I haven't awarded before, but this year definitely made me convinced that this needs to be a category, and this probably should be a category of the Oscars too, and that is Best Stunts. Now, this is going to the overall stunt performance and coordination, so it's not separated. It's just best use of stunts, best execution of stunts all together in general. The nominees for Best Stunts are Ferrari, The Iron Claw, John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, and Naiad. So there are the nominees for Best Stunts. Moving on to two other new categories, and this is kind of odd that I haven't had these categories because these are mainstay categories at the Academy Awards, but I feel like I finally see enough of these films every year to warrant its own category. So I am introducing a Best International Feature category and then a Best Documentary, Pro Shot, or Concert Film category. That's basically for anything that is not scripted per se, even though some documentaries have scripts, but anything under the umbrella of documentary, pro shot, concert film, any sort of non-fiction life existing being captured on camera kind of goes in that category. So we're going to start it off with that category, the Best Documentary, Pro Shot, or Concert Film. And the nominees are 20 Days in Mariupol, Beyond Utopia, Menus Plaisirs Les Trois, Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, and Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. And the nominees for another new category, the fourth of the new categories, Best International Feature. And for this criteria, it just had to be produced by an international country that is not the US, and it had to have been in a different language, so not in English, or a majority not in English. So the nominees for Best International Feature are from Japan, Godzilla -1, from the Philippines, The Missing, from Spain, Society of the Snow, from France, The Taste of Things, and from the UK, The Zone of Interest. So those are the new categories. Now it's time to just go through the mainstay categories that you see every year at the Pickle Awards. Here we go. Here are the nominations. Starting off with a little bit of a guilty pleasure category, we have the worst film of the year. These are just the films that didn't resonate with me this year, or were maybe just so bad they were entertaining. The nominees for worst film of the year are Bad Behavior, Deltopia, Five Nights at Freddy's, Slaughterhouse, Winnie the Pooh, Blood, and Honey. Moving on to a few more superlatives. First, the nominees for Best Movie Opening. The nominees are Anyone But You, Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and The Taste of Things. And now the nominees for the Best Movie Closing, the best final scenes or sequences of the year. The nominees are Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And now for some fun couple awards. First, the Best On-Screen Couple. The nominees are Juliette Binoche and Benoit Bagnemel, The Taste of Things, David Johnson and Vivian Oparah, Rye Lane, Greta Lee and John Magaro, Past Lives, Paul Mescal and Andrew Scott, All of Us Strangers, and Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney, Anyone But You. And the nominees for Best Kiss, because we're all romantics at heart, the nominees are Ruby Cruz and Rachel Sennott, Bottoms, Iowa Debris and Havana Rose Liu, Bottoms, Mason Gooding and Jenna Ortega, Scream 6, Bruna Marquezine and Zolo Marduena, Blue Beetle, and Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney, Anyone But You. And now the nominees for another superlative, which is Best Villain, which I am now calling Best Villain or Antagonist Performance, just because this is not an award for the best written villain, it is for the performance of the villain, or antagonist, because some of these villains are maybe exceptions depending on the point of view of which character you're looking at from the film, but regardless, here are the nominees for Best Villain or Antagonist Performance. The nominees are Dave Bautista, Knock at the Cabin, Jason Clarke, Oppenheimer, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, and Antoine Reynaud's Anatomy of a Fall. And now the music categories. First up, the nominees for Best Original Score. The nominees are Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, and The Zone of Interest. And now for the nominees for Best Original Song. These are songs that were written for these movies. The other songs are found in the other new category, Use of Pre-Existing Song. These are the nominees for Best Original Song. The nominees are Am I Dreaming? Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Camp Isn't Home from Theater Camp, Can't Catch Me Now from The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I'm Just Ken from Barbie, and What Was I Made For from Barbie. And now we're moving on to the categories, the genre categories, starting with the best comedy and or musical film, starting with best actor in a comedy and or musical film. The nominees are Coleman Domingo, The Color Purple, Andrew Barth Feldman, No Hard Feelings, Noah Galvin, Theater Camp, Ryan Gosling, Barbie, and Joaquin Phoenix, Beau is Afraid. And the nominees for best actress in a comedy and or musical are Halle Bailey, The Little Mermaid, Fantasia Barrino, The Color Purple, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, Io Adebri, Bottoms, and Margot Robbie, Barbie. And the nominees for best comedy and or musical film are Barbie, Beau is Afraid, Bottoms, The Color Purple, and Rye Lane. And now moving on to the sci-fi and or horror categories. These are films that fit either or banner, starting with the best actor in a sci-fi and or horror film. The nominees are Tobin Bell, Saw X, Joe Bird, Talk to Me, Willem Dafoe, Poor Things, Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things, Rami Youssef, Poor Things. And now moving on to best actress in a sci-fi and or horror film. The nominees are Caitlin Dever, No One Will Save You, Judy Greer, Aporia, Emma Stone, Poor Things, Alyssa Sutherland, Evil Dead Rise, and Sophie Wilde, Talk to Me. And the nominees for best sci-fi and or horror film: Godzilla Minus One, No One Will Save You, Poor Things, Skinamarink, and Talk to Me. Now moving on to the action categories. First starting off with the best action sequence of the year. The nominees are the Arc de Triomphe chase from John Wick Chapter 4, the Dragon's Breath shotgun sequence from John Wick Chapter 4, the No Sleep Till Brooklyn sequence from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the stair sequence from John Wick Chapter 4, and the train sequence from Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. And now the best actor in an action film. The nominees are Tom Blythe, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Henry Czerny, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, David Harbour, Gran Turismo, and Michael B. Jordan, Creed 3. And the nominees for best actress in an action film. The nominees are Haley Atwell, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Viola Davis, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Vanessa Kirby, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Pom Klementieff, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and Rachel Zegler, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And now the nominees for best action film are Creed 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, John Wick Chapter 4, and Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. And now the nominees for the animated categories, starting with the best voice actress. This can be any voice performance in animated or live action film as long as the character itself was off-screen and or animated. The nominees are Maria Bakalova, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Jenna Davis, Megan, Ariana DeBose, Wish, Leah Lewis, Elemental, and Haley Steinfeld, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. And the nominees for Best Voice Actor are Jack Black, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, Bradley Cooper, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Shameik Moore, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Jason Schwartzman, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Masaki Suda, The Boy and the Heron. And now the nominees for Best Animated Feature are The Boy and the Heron, The Missing, Robot Dreams, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Suzume. And now we are here at the tech category, starting with the technical award for best visual effects. The nominees are The Creator, Godzilla Minus One, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And the nominees for best sound. The nominees are Maestro, No One Will Save You, Oppenheimer, Skinamarink, and The Zone of Interest. And now the nominees for Best Film Editing. The nominees are The Holdovers, John Wick Chapter 4, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and still a Michael J. Fox movie. And now the nominees for Best Cinematography: John Wick Chapter 4, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and The Zone of Interest. Now we're moving on to the Best Costume Design category. The nominees for Best Costumes: Barbie, The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, and Priscilla. And the nominees for Best Hair and Makeup: Evil Dead Rise, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. And now the nominees for Best Production Design. The nominees are Asteroid City, Barbie, The Color Purple, John Wick Chapter 4, and Poor Things. Now we're moving on to the 2 screenplay categories, starting with Best Original Screenplay. The nominees are Beau is Afraid, Bottoms, The Holdovers, May December, and Past Lives. And the nominees for Best Adapted Screenplay: All of Us Strangers, American Fiction, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. We're now going to get into all the acting categories, starting with the Best Young Actor. This is any actor who is under the age of 21 at the time of filming their respective films. So the nominees are Joe Bird, Talk to Me, Abby Ryder-Fortston, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Woody Norman, Cobweb, Sonny Sandler, You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, and Dominic Sessa, The Holdovers. And now for the Best Acting Ensemble. This is the collective cast of a motion picture. The nominees are Bottoms, The Color Purple, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Moving on now to the big ones. Supporting Actor. The nominees are Jamie Bell, All of Us Strangers, Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr., Oppenheimer, Charles Melton, May December, and Antoine Reinart's Anatomy of a Fall. And now the nominees for Best Supporting Actress: Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, Claire Foy, All of Us Strangers, Patti LuPone, Beau is Afraid, Rachel McAdams, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Da'Vine Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. And now moving on to the nominees for Best Actor: Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Barry Keoghan, Saltburn, Cillian Murphy, Oppenheimer, Andrew Scott, All of Us Strangers, and Dominic Sessa, The Holdovers. And now moving on to Best Actress, a category I agonized over. The nominees are Fantasia Barrino, The Color Purple, Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall, Natalie Portman, May December, and Emma Stone, Poor Things. Now the nominees for Best Director. The Best Director nominees, here they are: Andrew High, All of Us Strangers, Todd Haynes, May December, Tran Anh Hung, The Taste of Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, Poor Things, and Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer. And now, the nominees for Best Picture, my top 10 films of 2023. The nominees are All of Us Strangers, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, Beyond Utopia, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Holdovers, May December, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and The Taste of Things. So that's the Pickle Award nominations. We made it through. You can now go about the rest of your day. Make sure to vote on the poll. You have 5 days to do so. You can vote every single one of those 5 days if you so choose, or you can just submit one ballot. It's up to you. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun rattling off my nominations. If you want to follow the Pickle Awards and keep track of when they are going to be, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can get that alert and ring that bell, press that bell, whatever you have to do, so you can be notified when the Pickle Award starts, because it will be live streamed on the 4th of March. So make sure you're ready for that award awards ceremony on the 4th, and stay tuned and subscribe for a lot of other cool things on the channel. Plenty of amazing things happening here on the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. So thank you so much, and I'll see ya for the Pickle Awards on March 4th.